Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my Halloween TBR. These are the books that I am trying to read before Halloween. This is a pretty ambitious list. However, I hope you'll find some inspiration in it. We have lots of classic mysteries, we have some thrillers, we have some paranormal, we have some cozy mysteries. We're kind of covering the gambit with everything and I'm really excited. So let's go and hop into our first pick. Let's start with a classic. This is one that I have started. I'm about a fourth of the way in, so not too far in, but this is the Agatha Christie 12 New Mysteries that just released, I believe, this month or in September. Basically, it features 12 new Miss Marple mysteries, and the book is called Marple. And it's all 12 mysteries, 12 short stories, all written by modern day authors, and they're, writing new Miss Marple stories. And I'm a big Miss Marple fan. I'm currently reading this series from the very beginning, trying to go through it in order, and I'm really, really loving it. It's just fantastic. Miss Marple is such an entertaining character, a wonderful sleuth. The mysteries are always complex and interesting, so when I saw this I was like, wow, that would be really interesting. So I have this checked out for my library right now. It is in large print, which is why it looks so huge, but that's the edition my library had. So far, really enjoying it. The first one in this compilation is from Lucy Foley, who I actually have a book of hers on this list, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But I've read two of Lucy Foley's thrillers and absolutely loved them, and I really loved Lucy Foley's story in this. It's the very first one in the anthology. It was excellent. It really felt like Miss Marple brought to life. I thought the mystery was so well thought out. It had all of the quirkiness and complexities that Miss Marple, like the original Miss Marple mysteries, have, so I'm really, really excited to read more of this, especially because I only recognize a few of these authors. I've read Ruth Ware, I've read Lucy Foley, I recognize some other names, but I just want to go ahead and absorb more of these authors and see which ones I really, really love and see if I can find some new authors and favorites. And what is better for this time of year than Agatha Christie? I mean, that's a no-brainer, really. So when I saw this, I was like, perfect. I'm trying to read more anthologies and short stories and novellas as well, because I tend to stick to traditional novels, and that's nothing wrong with that, of course, but I feel like these can be a really good way to find new authors and to just kind of try new things out. So I'm really, really excited to explore more of these authors. And how beautiful is this cover? I mean, they did such a great job with the cover. I love the cover. Anyways, let's move on to our next pick. So this next one is by an author that is completely new to me. It's a first book in a cozy mystery series, and I'm really excited for this one. I don't know exactly when it's set, like what time of year, but based on the cover, it looks, like it's set at least at night. It's kind of dark, has kind of a spooky vibe to it. So this is called Death by Bubble Tea by Jennifer J. Chow. She's also the author who wrote the Sassy Cat mystery series, or what you might recognize as the Mimi Lee Gets a Clue. I'll put a picture on the screen. You'll probably recognize it because it was pretty widely talked about, but I never actually got around to reading it. I have it on my list, but this one really, really intrigued me. So this is part of the new series that she's writing. It's called the LA Night mystery series. It did come out in July 2022. So a pretty new release. I'm really excited for this. Basically, we have our two main characters in this. We have Yale Yi and her cousin Celine, who is visiting from Hong Kong, and they haven't seen each other in like 20 years, so they're not really close or anything like that. But Yale's father wants her to kind of grow closer to her cousin, so he suggests that they open like a food cart or like host a food cart during this like night market. And so she kind of begrudgingly, goes along with it, and she doesn't know how they're going to get along or how Celine's job as a social media influencer is going to help them. But surprisingly, things go off pretty well, with her cooking abilities and Celine's social media and like marketing skills. Things are actually going really well until one of their customers drinks one of their bubble teas and dies. Thus the title. So then they're kind of on the case because both of them are suspects in the case, especially Celine, who was the one who handled the drink. So they're trying to clear their names and figure out what actually happened to the victim. And I'm really, really excited. I love this cover. The artwork on this is just, I'm going to pop a picture so you can see a little bit better, but it's just so beautiful. I love that it has a little bit of a darker colors than some cozy mysteries tend to be a little bit brighter, which I love, but this one has some darker undertones. I really love the deep navy and kind of light orangey tones that it has. I love the artwork. One of the other picks for this TBR is actually called Midnight Hour, and this is a chilling anthology of crime fiction from 20 authors of color. So basically this has 20 different short stories. All of them are crime fiction, so these aren't, from what I understand, they aren't going to be as cozy. How chilling is this cover? I love like the dark alley. This is just absolutely perfect. The one by Jennifer Chow is actually featured on the back, and it says, after years of silence, two women decide to meet up in a unique escape room but get trapped in a deadly game from which there may be no escape. I am so incredibly excited for that story in particular because the idea of being trapped in an escape room terrifies me, and I love escape rooms, but just, oof, like that makes me so like kind of claustrophobic and not good. So I think it's a really great setting for some kind of crime or, you know, mystery. I think it's just perfect. There had also been a series that I had read earlier this year that the second book in the series was going to be featuring like an escape room heavily, but I hated the first book in the series and DNF'd it, so I never got to the escape room one. So ever since then I've had like a hankering to read an escape room mystery, so I am so excited for this. There's 20 short stories in here. There's a lot of authors like the other Marple anthology that I'm not familiar with, so I'm using this as a chance to like write down some names and ones from like these short stories that really stand out to me that I really like connect with and love the most. So I'm excited for this. Like I said, I'm not the biggest short story and anthology reader, but these just really stood out to me. So I'm gonna get through these and just really enjoy them. And I'm trying to read like 2 or so a night at least. And I figure that'll help, and then maybe on weekends I can read a couple more throughout the day or something. But I'm really excited. Let me know if you've read any of these anthologies, if you have favorite authors that are featured in them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So this next book is a thriller I'm very, very excited for. This is another one by Lucy Foley. So far I've had 2 like 4 or 5 star reads. I've read The Guest List and The Paris Apartment, and I've really loved them. They're kind of what got me more into contemporary thrillers. So this one I'm very excited for. It's called The Hunting Party. This does actually take place on December 30th, so it does take place in the winter time. However, a thriller to me is just perfect for fall regardless of the time of year, and it's still like cold weather and all of that. So the basic premise of this is that everyone's invited, everyone's a suspect. So there's basically a group of 30-something-year-old friends who are all from Oxford, like they're all Oxford alumni. And every year they go on a trip to some place together. This year it's going to be the Scottish Highlands, which I think will be a very cool setting. And so they arrive there on December 30th to have like a reunion and to, you know, hang out, have fun, all of that great stuff. However, they end up getting stuck in a historic snowstorm, so they are trapped. So it sounds like an isolation trope thriller, which you guys know, isolation tropes, absolutely love them. Like, give me a mystery where people are cut off from everything else and you know it's somebody in that room. And that gets me going. I love it. So this is the basic premise of that. And so they get snowed in, and one of them ends up dead. And so they know it's somebody on the premises, it's one of the friends, and it sounds like there's a lot of dark secrets that are starting to come out from like the 10 or so years that they've been getting together. It sounds like maybe they had a dark past at Oxford, I'm not entirely sure, so there might be some like academia vibes in this, which I think is also kind of a fall time, and I'm so excited. This is gonna be, like, I really feel like this is going to be a winner, because the other 2 were so good, and I feel like I've now jinxed myself by saying that. But Lucy Foley hasn't failed me yet, and this just sounds like a fantastic premise. It kind of reminds me of One by One by Ruth Ware. Again, that was a company retreat, and they were all snowed in, and I just loved that. The setting was amazing, so I'm very excited to explore that again with this book. This next one could not be more perfect for this time of year. This is Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. This is an Hercule Poirot mystery. I have not actually read a full-length Hercule Poirot yet. I've read a lot of the Miss Marple series, I've read some of her standalone works, and I've read some short stories from Hercule Poirot, but I've never read the novels. I'm planning on reading them mostly in order, but this one is like 36th or something in the series, and I want to read this for this time of year. So what I understand with this is that basically a Halloween party takes place, and there is like either like a child or a teenager says they like witness something, like they witness some like crime or something like that, and they end up dead basically on Halloween. And like nobody was really believing them before, like that they saw something, but after they're found dead, of course everyone starts to think, oh, was this person taken out because they saw something and they didn't want that person to spill the details. It's kind of what I understand, and I'm really excited. Like I said, I've never read a full-length Hercule Poirot, but I've loved pretty much everything I've read from Agatha Christie. So I'm very excited for this, and this is, of course, just perfect for Halloween because, I mean, the title is literally Halloween Party, so what could be better? I'm really, really excited for this. Yeah, it's just barely over 200 pages, so it shouldn't be too long of a read, and I think I'm gonna save this for like the week of Halloween. Just like the perfect ultimate Halloween mode, basically. So very excited for that. So this next one would be a reread for me. I'm not planning on reading it cover to cover because it is actually a short story collection, which I never talk about short story collections, but here I am. And this is the Don't Look Now collection by Daphne du Maurier, and I am really excited. This is creepy, guys. I remember reading this like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was creeped out. And I had read less thrillers and like scarier books at the time, but I still remember some details about a couple that really stuck with me, and they were, I mean, they were creepy. Like, they were like psychologically disturbing, I would say, is how I would describe it. Like, if you're not familiar with the author, she wrote Rebecca, The Jamaica Inn, Frenchman's Creek, My Cousin Rachel. I've read 3 out of 4 of those that I just listed, and I absolutely love them. I think her writing is so beautiful. It has like kind of a gothic style to it. It's very like flowy, it's descriptive, but there's something kind of eerie and unsettling about the way she describes settings, so it kind of like builds up, and her plots are always, I would say, from what I remember with some of the other books I've read, a lot of times her plots are not, they kind of leave you unsettled in a way, like you're not quite sure, like you're always kind of, it's like you're standing on sand, like she kind of shifts the sand underneath you as you're reading, like you're never quite steady in your footing, if that makes any sense. So I'm really excited for this. This has a collection of short stories that she's written. So this has 8 different short stories. If you are familiar with the Alfred Hitchcock movie The Birds, the short story The Birds is featured in this, so that's, if you're interested in that, that is something in here, but I would recommend this. From what I remember, it was really good. I want to just reread a couple that I remember being especially good and loving, so I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be good. And it's definitely, I mean, look at this cover. If that isn't terrifying, I mean, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. So, moving on. Alright, so something a little less terrifying, but still perfect for this time of year. We have, drumroll, The Thursday Murder Club. This has been such a huge, like, worldwide sensation, and I know the 3rd book just came out. I believe it's called The Bullet That Missed, and I just talked about that in a new Cozy Mystery Releases video. I'll link it above if you want to check it out, but I have not actually read the series, and I've been meaning to, so I have actually started this book. I'm about, I don't know, a third of the way or so in, and I'm really enjoying it. Basically, it takes place in a retirement village, which, and this is considered like a cozy mystery. The humor in this is a little more on the dry side. It is written by a British author, and from what I understand, that's kind of more of like a typical humor, like style from like British authors and people in general, and I'm really excited. So basically it takes place at a retirement village. There's a man called Red Ron. He's the infamous former socialist firebrand, and he causes a lot of trouble, and he's one of the members. Then there is Joyce, who is widowed and pining for another resident. There's Abraham, who is a former therapist who understands like the dark psychology behind human nature, so he always has a lot of interesting insights. And then there is Elizabeth, who no one really knows what her background is, but as you're reading you can see that she must have some experience with mysteries or something, because she seems to know her way around a mystery. So it's very intriguing. I have no idea what her background is, but it's very interesting. The Thursday Murder Club meets and they discuss cold cases, and eventually a local developer in the area is actually found dead, so they actually find themselves in the middle of a real live murder case. And the local developer, he's found dead, and there's like a photo with him with other like people in it, and so they're just trying to figure out who the other people are. Are they in danger? Are they one of the people who's angry and like, you know, came after this person? It's really interesting. It's a little less action-packed than some cozy mysteries that I read, but somehow it's really entertaining all the same. Like, there's just, the dialogue and stuff so far has been very witty. You can tell there's like a lot of thought put into each of the characters. I'm really enjoying the flow of the story. I find it's pretty easy to follow, and the characters are just so enjoyable. I really, really enjoy it. I think they're all in their 70s, and I love it. I think it's fantastic so far. I'm really excited to see how this mystery wraps up, but I feel like this will probably have a pretty strong, unless something horrible happens and the mystery just completely falls apart for some reason, I'm predicting this will be a pretty high rating in my book, and I'm just really excited because it feels like the hype has been pretty good, and I'm excited. I've been meaning to read this for a while just because I hear so many good things about it, and let me know if you've read this. I know it was very popular, so if you've read this, let me know what your thoughts were. I'd be very curious to hear them. Alright, so another book that I'm planning on reading before Halloween, I have it on hold at my library, so I haven't been able to pick it up yet, but it's called A Fatal Glow, and this is part of the Odessa Jones mystery series. I just finished the first book in the series, which is called A Glimmer of Death, and I loved it. So this is our supernatural cozy mystery. Our main character, Odessa, is she works in a real estate office. She's also developing a catering business on the side, so there's a lot of fun catering tidbits and food tidbits and like a recipe in the back of the first book and everything. But she's also a psychic. So she has this ability to kind of see these glimmers and glows around people. And basically, like, the colors of these glimmers and stuff, like, indicate their mood, their, like, if they're deceptive, like, she can kind of sense things. It's not very definitive, which I like, so there's kind of like a loose magic system, if you will, but it's just enough to add that fun supernatural flair into the mystery, which is perfect for the month of October and Halloween. I mean, nothing could be better. So I loved it. The first book, Odessa, is a really tenacious character. I found her to be very empathetic. I found her family to be highly entertaining. I liked learning about her power and stuff with the psychic ability. I thought it was all really interesting. So the next book in the series is called A Fatal Glow, and I believe this takes place where she is actually catering like a party and someone at the party dies, and so she starts to investigate the murder. Very, very excited. The third book is actually already supposed to come out next July, so I'm hoping if this is a win like the first book is, then I'll have a third book coming up in July, so I'm really, really excited for that. Alright guys, so that is my Halloween TBR. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know down below, what are you planning on reading before Halloween? Do you have any Halloween specific picks? Are you reading like me, like thrillers, mysteries, anything that's supernatural? Like, what is your kind of Halloween fix, if you will? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if you have recommendations by like any authors that you know are in the anthologies that you love. I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because I'm always looking for new authors. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you are reading for Halloween this year, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do upload videos every single week, especially on mystery books is my kind of specialty, if you will, but lots of books in general. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!